Hey guys, Chauncey Phillips here with a brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Today gonna go out, see what stuff came out today, see what stuff's on sale, all that kind of stuff. Also this Friday I'm gonna have a brand new movie hunting video going up with me and Danny, so definitely check that out. We went to a bunch of different spots, so we'll be posting that up sometime on Friday. Also gonna have a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews at the end of this video. So anyway though guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. Well, I'm over here in the section, and it's funny, they put out here by mistake, because this movie got the date pulled. This movie, In the Deep, the Mandy movie, because as far as I heard, this movie had the date changed and was going to get its title changed to like 30 meters down or something like that. I don't know. I remember hearing, though, that that had happened, and then this release was canceled because you can't get this on Amazon or anything like that. But other than that, though, in the section, I don't see anything else out that was new today. As far as I can tell, it doesn't seem like there's anything else over here except this one. So I'll probably get this one because, like I said, this one, as far as I heard, that it was pulled and there was like a thing online about this and it was gonna end up getting like a theatrical release or something like that. And they have a bunch of copies in here. I'll have to see if it actually scans or not, because as far as I know, you can't get this thing anywhere, this one, and I heard it was actually pretty good. But one of the things, though, that did come out in here was over in this section was, Supergirl, which I talked about in my last video. I actually like this one. It has a only a Target exclusive, lenticular cover on this one. But actually pretty fun show. But this one, this cover version that moves like this is only at Target. Well, I ended up getting that In the Deep one, like it's scanned and everything. Like I said, I'm pretty certain that that was pulled, and it's like selling up on eBay for like $60, and someone has a listing for it on Amazon for like $200. But it's one I actually wanted to really watch, so it's actually cool to see it in person. It seems like a lot of stores, at least I've seen some people with Targets, screwing up and putting that out. And I guess that they, produced the discs and then, some of them got out, as far as I can tell. Into the Valley Thrift Store we go. Well, we'll see if they've changed anything out in here. I've been trying to come here like every week or two now, because they seem like they get new stuff in all the time now. For a while I had like a lot of the same stuff, but it seems like lately they've been getting newer things, so I want to like try and check to make sure I don't miss anything. And they do get like out of print stuff, because a lot of the stuff is all like the same price, except for certain things that they set to different prices, but most of them are like $2. It's funny, this is, I think, the original version of Fever Pitch, that one movie with Drew Barrymore, and I think this is like the original one, because I think I remember hearing this was a remake, but I never actually saw this one in person. Yeah, it's like a Canadian release one of this one. Well, nothing really in there today. Looked through everything for a while. There's always a lot of people in the way there and stuff, so you used to have to stand there and wait, but looked through everything really well and didn't see anything different. One of the only things they had that was like, I think like sort of out of print was like this We Sing thing, but that was about it. Into Menchie's we go. And I got the yogurt stuff that I get there. That's pretty much what I get on Tuesdays now, and then eat something else when I get home. But people too have been wondering, they've been asking about like the weight loss and all that kind of stuff, and if I'm gonna do another video on that. And I might at some point, like if there's any certain subjects you want me to talk about, let me know. But like I said, the weight has been pretty much exactly the same. It's like 192, 193, hasn't gone up, haven't gained any weight or anything like that. So it's pretty much just been maintaining it for the last couple months, and so that's really just what I've been doing. But just wanted to give you a little update on that, because people have been asking me a lot in the comments about that. Into Fry's we go. Well, we'll take a look and see if they have anything new in here. Now they have a bunch of copies of Public Enemies for $2. I don't think I ever watched this one. At least I don't think I did. No, I don't know if that one's any good or not. But, there seems to be a lot of ones. Some other one in here for $2. The Nutcracker, The Untold Story. I don't know at all about this. I don't even know when this one came out, with Nathan Lane in it and Ellie Fanning. This is I never heard of this one in my life. They seem to have a lot of copies of things here, like that they must have recently got in, like Mom's Night Out for $4, like 1 million copies of Milk, which I'm pretty sure I have that one, but that's only $2 in here. So a lot of, like, here's another one, Love Happens, and this one, they've got look at how many copies of this one, Life Happens. These are $2. This is some, like, Christian Ritter movie. So I don't think I ever saw this one, but they got a zillion copies of this, a million copies of Leatherhead, so they must have like, oh, look how many more copies of Life Happens. These ones have no slipcovers, so if you want the non-slipcover ones, and then all of these ones have the slipcovers, so they must have gotten like some boxes of stuff or something, then they had like a million of them that were like in the back or something that was, I don't know what happens, because here's a bunch of copies of The Kids Are All Right. So if you guys are interested in any of these and you have any fries, definitely check them out because they seem to have a lot of copies of stuff like Killers, and they all seem to be like $2 and $4. It almost seems like the stuff they had at the dollar store, because a lot of these were in the dollar store ones when they had the dollar Blu-rays like Dream House and Darkman. I'm pretty sure this was one of the ones. This isn't the Scream Factory one, but this is the older Universal one. So I'm thinking that maybe they have a lot of the ones that were for the dollar store, you know, and then they kind of bought a whole bunch of them. That's what I'm thinking it could be. This is kind of a weird one to see for $2. Catfish the movie, which is, you know, what inspired the show. You know, that's actually a pretty good one. I have this, but $2 is a pretty good price for that because this is not a super common one to see. Into Best Buy we go. And they have this one thing up here that says head back to campus, these movies. But one of these movies, if you head back to campus with it, I think with, you know, the Fantastic Four one, I think they're going to ask you to leave campus if you head back with this one. They're going to be like, no, you can not head back. You can go to another campus. I think if you bring that one, they'll be really disappointed with you for bringing that one to campus. And they have these pop art ones here. And one thing, too, someone was telling me was, underneath of them, they're not actually just on the slip covers, these pop art ones. They're actually on the actual cases. It's the same discs themselves, but it's cool this time they actually have it on the slipcover and the actual disc, because a lot of times when they would do these pop art kind of ones or ones with different slipcovers, it was basically just this artwork, new artwork on the slipcovers themselves, and then it was the old DVD or Blu-ray, you know, back in that case with that new slipcover. But actually with all these ones, it's actually new artwork on both. But in the actual section, like I said, it was pretty small release week. Nothing new over here has changed. All the same stuff from last week or so. Really don't see anything new at all in here, though. Well, that's all for this DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Like I said, didn't find too much, but did end up getting, though, that In the Deep one, which is the Mandy Moore one, which is like not really sold anywhere. It was like taken from the shelves, but luckily enough they had it in Target, which was actually kind of cool to see that. Anyway, though, guys, now stay tuned for a couple new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got from Artsploitation Films is a movie called Observance, which I really liked a lot. Little bit tough to explain. I've filmed this a couple times trying to explain this one, but basically, though, this movie is about a private investigator who's in this like abandoned, rundown house. He's in there with his camera and all of his equipment, and he's spying out the window at this woman across the street. And you kind of are wondering exactly what's going on, because he keeps getting these calls from this guy saying, oh, what's she doing? What have you seen her doing? Has she done anything weird? And, you know, he's observing certain things, and he's observing this guy coming over, and the guy is sort of yelling at the woman and getting mad at her, and they're like fighting with each other. And, like, the guy's like, oh, don't worry about that. And he's like, well, if he hits her or anything bad happens, should I intervene? Should I do something? And the guy's like, no, don't worry about yourself with that. You just need to basically watch what this woman's doing, report back to me, let me know when she leaves, all this kind of stuff. And he is like doing all this kind of lurking around the guy who's the investigator and figuring out how he's going to get like sound equipment inside so he can listen in more. But then you're kind of starting to realize, though, that there's some odd stuff going on in this place where he is, this abandoned place. He's like starting to see and hear kind of weird things, and he's also having like these weird visions and stuff like that of like this kid with like this stuff coming out of his eyes. It's like very creepy, weird stuff. And like stuff's going on in the house where, like, if he opens one window, then all of a sudden it's closed when he comes back, or something gets broken, all of a sudden it's fixed, and it's like nothing has happened to it. But he's basically, though, spying on with this woman across the street and just kind of trying to observe this, but he's like not knowing exactly why he's doing this, because he doesn't know who the real client who's hired him to do this is. If he tries to ask the guy on the phone, the guy's like, oh, don't worry about it, don't need to concern yourself with this. So it's kind of him trying to exactly figure out exactly what is going on here. And it's one of those movies too when you're kind of like feeling like, is something going to happen here? Is it going to have like this twist to this, or is it going to go this way? It's definitely one of those like real slow burn but like really creepy films. Really has a cool vibe to this one. Also, the one guy from Wolf Creek is in this movie. You know, the main killer in Wolf Creek has a cameo in this one. And also has on here like a featurette on the film. But I would definitely say this is a pretty cool movie. Really, really nice cinematography in this one as well. The next two from Lionsgate are Power Rangers Megaforce and Power Rangers Super Megaforce, which are now out together in a full, complete series set. Because before these were only released, you know, in single volume sets of the show. But now these are all compiled together. They also have the digital versions of them as well, of the entire series. And I actually liked these series of this. I have not seen the most current seasons of the Power Rangers. I think they're like Dino Force or something. I believe those are the actual like latest ones. But the Super Mega Force ones, actually really like the cast in this one. But basically though, it's, you know, if you know the Power Rangers series, like they usually do like 2 or 3 years with the same cast, and then they always change them out to different casts. And the cast with this series actually is pretty good cast. Like I said, I have not seen the actual latest one. The series before this one, I saw a couple of too, because I think Bulk and Skull, or I think Bulk came back and was in that one. I'm pretty sure that was the one before this. But if you guys don't know the series, it's basically about these teenagers who've come together with like, they kind of fight aliens and creatures and stuff like that. This one is basically them with a lot of aliens and stuff. But I like I said, I really like these series. It has on here though, like I said, it's the discs that were released before in the past, but all together in, you know, complete series sets of these ones. The next one is one I just finished watching now. This is a true story. It's a documentary from Sony, a movie called Dark Horse, and it's basically a movie about this this kind of like working class town in I think it was in like in the, I don't know exactly what's part of the UK it was, but it's like in Wales. This working class town who basically, this woman comes up with this idea that she wants to, you know, basically breed a racehorse, and everyone's kind of like, oh, okay. But the thing is, when it comes to like breeding racehorses, it talks about this in this movie, how this was done and how they got to where they did. But it's like usually it's something that really only super rich and wealthy people can do, not people who are working class and don't have that kind of money. But she comes up with the idea that she's going to, because you have to get one horse, and then you have to get you know, like a male horse, and there's all these criteria when you have to do this, because you have to basically breed them together, and then you get an actual race horse that can qualify to do that. But basically they come, you know, she comes with the idea and really wants to do this, and everyone in the town is like thinking, oh, if you want to try, you can do it. But it's basically about the town kind of coming together and putting this kind of group of them trying to get money together to actually make this happen, and their journey to where they get, which is actually super far into this kind of competition. And it also deals with kind of like the classes too, where like you know, how they kind of like the super rich class kind of tries to keep the lower class, working class, out of these kind of competitions. It's a very interesting documentary, very well done. And also they use like, because since it was from years back, you know, because we're talking about when it first started, they kind of have old footage, and they have stuff from the news, and they did a really good job putting this together and kind of chronicling the whole story of how it started up until, you know, where they got with this. But really well done documentary though. Definitely recommend if you guys like documentaries and you like kind of feel good documentaries, I would definitely recommend this one. And the last one here from Image Entertainment is a movie called The Phenom, and it stars, you know, Johnny Sims, Paul Giamatti, and Ethan Hawke. And Ethan Hawke really, it's a different role for him, because he plays a really mean guy. Because, you know, normally you see him, he's kind of like a nice guy. He's really terrible to his son in this. This is basically a story about this kid who gets, you know, has basically this extreme abilities with baseball, with pitching and throwing these super fast balls and things like that. And, you know, he gets very far in you know, doing this, and he gets basically to the major leagues. And it starts with him in the very beginning, when it's like things are going very well for him, but then he kind of chokes up when he's out there, and something happens, and he basically loses his ability and all of his interest in actually doing this. And it's kind of like he's going to get demoted, and he ends up having to go to counseling, and talks to Paul Giamatti's character. It kind of talks to Paul Giamatti's character, you know, who's a doctor, about like what is going on, and he's kind of trying to get to the root of the problem. And basically, when he's talking to him, it kind of flashes back to when he was a little bit younger, when he was in high school, and his father, who was like screaming at him, giving him all kinds of crap, saying you're never gonna, you know, get up to anything, and you're never gonna do good at this. And he's basically doing everything he can to put him down. Like I said, he's playing a really terrible guy who's always trying to basically really just break him down. And he's sort of breaking him down to kind of try and get him to do better and things like that. But it basically, though, these things are all kind of coming to haunt him, and the father's coming around when he's getting it up to, you know, where he is now, and kind of messing him up, and he's also kind of not even knowing if this is really what he wants to do. It's a really well done character piece, especially for Ethan Hawke's performance, and Paul Giamatti's really good in this one as well. But a really well done film though. Anyway though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.